Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Rogue Trader with me, Bregaton. Let's return to the Void Ship and then head towards Rykad Minoris. A permission to report, Lord Captain. Over the past few days, I received several messages from different decks, complaining about anomalous behaviors in the ship's cogitators and servitors. The machine spirits are restless and rebellious, and no tech litany or ritual of pacification can rid them of this obstinacy. The tech priests can deal with the vessel systems, but the servitors, they make errors in their tasks, disobey orders, change the assigned rituals, or sometimes downright freezes as if in a trance. A click comes through the Vox channel followed by a wary sigh. Lord Captain, occurrences such as these are caused by errors in cogitator calculations, or have some other sensible explanation. I beseech you not to take after those who whisper about the ship being cursed or possessed. Edo joins the channel and chimes in playfully. Oh, don't start, old man. All these peculiar happenings have long since turned into local legends. A door slams shut, a lumen starts flickering. Folk have grown used to all that, so our resident ghost has decided to up the ante. I'm telling you, things are only going to get worse from here. Technomats inspected the servitors and concluded they posed no danger. According to the servants of the Omnissiah, such behavior is caused either by the echoes of minds not completely eliminated, or by manifestations of the machine spirit's will. Nevertheless, the faulty servitors make the crew's tasks considerably more difficult, and High Factotum Janus Danrock would like to discuss how you should deal with the defective property. He is awaiting your audience on the bridge. The High Factotum Janus Danrock greets you with a cool smile and the merest hint of a bow. Pleasure to see you, Lord Captain. How may I be of assistance? Abigdus informed me about a problem with the servitors. What happened? You see, your lordship, the ship's servitors have been malfunctioning of late. They violate protocols, interrupt their tasks, observe crew members for long periods of time, and move erratically with no meaning or purpose. Janus Danrock nervously pulls on his luxurious frock coat, as if it were uncomfortably tight. Had it been a routine technical fault, I'd have decided the fate of these servitors myself, but I deemed it necessary to notify you. I do not wish to hide such irregularities from the Lord Captain. If you wish to observe the servitors' unusual behavior before you decide their fate, this can be arranged. The majority of the defective units have been delivered to one of the storage compartments pending your decision. I wish to take a look at these servitors before deciding their fate. As you wish, your lordship. Sector, data unavailable. Region, data unavailable. Location, Von Valancia's flagship, lower decks. Material, report of a tech phenomenon that was observed during the Lord Captain's visit to Bay AKN-108, from the words of High Factotum Janus Danrock. When his lordship arrived at the scene, he found the servitors in the same position that they had assumed after they had been corralled into the bay, all standing in a long spiraling line facing the center of their strange formation. The moment his lordship crossed the threshold of the bay gate, their bodies jerked into motion, all as one, as if obeying a command. The servitors turned to face the Lord Captain. The technomats tasked with overseeing the defective units even reached for their weapons. But then the servitors went still, just as abruptly, staring at his lordship with vacant eyes. All present held their breath, disturbed by this sight, who waited for the Lord Captain to speak. His lordship Donnie Dawson von Valancius demanded a report on the defective unit status from the technomats. The technomats' long-winded and detailed report could have been summarized in a single key point. Despite the servitors' abnormal behavior, they were still quite capable of carrying out tasks, and therefore the circumstances did not call for their termination. I took several steps toward the servitors. Immediately, the servitors, each and every one of them, stepped toward the Lord Captain in perfect unison. They mimicked his movements with frightening precision. The rogue trader halted in place, after a moment's thought, waved his hand, and the servitors, just as synchronously, repeated that gesture as well. When the Lord Captain turned quizzically to the technomats, so did the servitors, as if mocking him. Whatever the Lord Captain did, be it an incline of the head, a wave of a hand, or a step to the side, the defective units repeated it without a moment's delay or hesitation, like grotesque marionettes controlled by an unseen puppeteer. We observed this mime unfold in distressed bafflement for nearly a minute, till the servitors finally came to a stop. Not sensing any threat from them, the rogue trader approached with confidence. The Lord Captain examined the servitors. As High Factotum, it was I who had prompted that entire inspection, and thus it was my duty to follow the Lord Captain. As we stepped closer, we noticed a fascinating irregularity. The servitors' pupils, normally still, were shaking wildly. Their bulging veins were pulsating under their copper collars, inscribed with their past offenses. It was as if those mindless half-machines were locked in a perpetual state of extreme tension. A visibly shaken technomat behind us proposed that the human souls had awakened within the servitors' bodies after a long slumber deep within the lobotomized brains. Formerly bereft of intelligence, they had attained awareness, feeling, and understanding. After a pause, the technomat added that the servitors used to function properly, and no one had been able to explain the change in their behavior. His gaze still trained on the motionless, but animate, half machines and half people. The Lord Captain stepped away from the servitors. Ordered that one of the servitors be disassembled and its components investigated. A group of technomats hurried to act upon the Lord Captain's command. The servitor's mechanical parts separated with clicks, snaps, and hisses. The sutures between its wrinkled, pale flesh and its augments were laid disgustingly bare. We watched the technomats do their work and could see every centimeter of the servitor's stiff muscles abounding with valves and cavities, pierced by countless cords and tubes. The disassembly and analysis complete, the technomats concurred. The unit was in working order. Nothing in the dissected body that lay before us could provide any insight into the reason behind the defects. I should make note of one more thing. At that moment, all of us present discovered that not just the eyes, but the hands and heads of some of the servitors were now shaking too. It was as if the mechanized servants were overcome with some primordial terror. Knight turned to me to announce his decision. His lordship looked at me with unwavering resolve, and it was that confidence that wrenched me out of the nightmarish stupor that had me tensely observing the scene unfolding before me. The Lord Captain gave the order. To dispose of the servitors so that their human souls may be released from torment. The Lord Captain's command was executed post-haste. All defective units were incinerated in furnaces, and their remains were expelled into the void. The crew was provided with replacement servitors, and soon forgot all about the destroyed unit's peculiarities. Yet this incident haunts my memories to this day. With the fate of the defective servitors decided, nothing could now distract the Lord Captain from his mission. Alright, so War World Origin Fencing Body Glove. Alright, so Reaper Cape grants 12% dodge reduction to the wearer's melee area attacks. And Veil Render. So each critical hit scored with this sword increases Veil degradation by +0. Oh, it's a 4 sword. Alright, this is new. Because when the game first came out, there's only 3, technically 4 swords in the game. And you don't get it till you recruit. You don't get the first one till you recruit Heinrichs. Then you are competing for 1 sword for a while. Each critical hit scored with this sword increases Veil degradation by 0. The next attack with this sword deals +0 more damage. The sword deals additional +0 damage. Doesn't sound very good yet, but we need someone with a... I'm assuming that's Psyker rating. Or Psi rating. Yeah. Alright. That's enough distractions for now. Let's head to Rycad Minoris. I lied. Oh, sorry, we can't talk to him anymore. A permission to report, Lord Captain. Members of a sacred cult operating aboard this ship have requested an audience. They wish to present gifts and introduce themselves to their new captain. What sacred cult? They call themselves the Bloodspun Web. The cult defends the flagship from both internal and external threats. Lady Theodora held them in high regard, and looked favorably upon their activities. I am ready to receive them. Oh, shoot, didn't mean to click on that. Alright, please let me know when your lordship is ready to receive the cultists. I'll await your orders on the bridge. As always, I'm at your service. Yes, I'd have more pressing matters that require my attention. We'll take care of that real quick. Alright, have the Vox Spirits brought... Actually, I don't think I've read this yet. When you approach, Victus pulls away from fine-tuning another Vox and bows her head. Lord Captain, the ship informed me of our imminent meeting. Have the Vox Spirits brought you anything interesting lately? Forgive me, Lord Captain. I have no information that would be of interest to you at this moment. Members of a cult operating on this ship have been asking for a meeting. I am willing to receive them. I'll commence preparations at once, Lord Captain. Those on the deck watch in awe as the final figure moves gracefully into a ceremonial pose. Some of the officers whisper in excitement, while others murmur prayers to the God Emperor.
The Undying Emperor commanded us to spin a web of blood around his children, and we obeyed. We obey still.
They fall silent as a tall young woman steps forward. She moves toward you soundlessly, the dim light casting shadows across the mask which conceals her face. The mask cultists repeat the words in a mournful whisper. We obey still.
Domin von Valancius, death has whispered your name. We disown Domin Theodora. We renounce our oath to her.
The woman's slender finger has been fitted with a metal claw. She points it in your direction and gazes at you from behind her bone mask with the cold, grim eyes of an assassin. She pulls out a sinister curved blade, and similar weapons suddenly appear in the hands of her motionless companions.
And now we give the gift of our blood to you. It is the gift of death. Death has whispered your name. The followers of the tenets of the web swear fealty to their new overlord and offer proof of their devotion.
The blade sing through the air, the rivulets of crimson flow onto the deck. The young woman bows her head reverently as she hands you a heavy parcel. The others bow their heads as well. They seem unconcerned by the blood that trickles down their fingers.
We give you a blade, the silent verdict. The Undying One has chosen you to wield this instrument of death. We give you one of our own, Kibellah. She will be your shield and shadow. And we give you the blood of these traitors. The tenets of the web will purify their souls.
As a silent verdict, this elegant blade, quenching the blood of holy martyrs, fits perfectly in the hand. The black steel has been polished until the reflective gleam of the metal can be seen even in the dark. The Death Cult weapons gain the following: minus 6% to the target's parry, plus 1% to the wielder's critical hit chance for each attack they make. It's bonus attacks until the end of each round. You've heard many stories about death cults such as this one. These devoted, holy assassins of the Imperium have turned death into a form of worship of the Emperor. They're exemplary slayers, invisible executioners, and the scourge of traitors, heretics, and fallen souls. Many righteous people honor them as votaries of the faith, while they see their fearsome rituals as frenzied spectacles touched by madness. Examine the cultists. The cultists are all voidborn. Their lithe, sinewy bodies are clad in light armor, which allows them to move with an acrobat's nimble grace and strike with an assassin's swift surety. The red and black vestments are adorned with sharp spikes and ritual jewelry. Where time and training have worn their garments threadbare, you can make out patterns of bleeding lacerations. Examine the captives. The prisoners cower beneath the weight of your gaze. Blood drips down the tear-stained faces of the captured officers, technomats, and workers. A word has been carved into each of their foreheads with meticulous precision: traitor, heretic, apostate, renegade. The cuts have been diligently and regularly reopened to prevent healing.
These renegades committed treachery against their domin. Their lips once praised the name of Kunrad Voigtveer, but it is your name they will whisper as they cross over to the other side.
Interesting. So Death Cult watches over my crew. They who honor the Emperor through killing, who devote their every deed to serving him. Sacred executioners.
The Domin has discerned our essence. This is a great honor for the bloodspun web. We have woven the bays of this ship together with the threads of our faith for many years. We keep the greatest relic, his tarot, through which he sends us his blessed revelations. We obey the whispers of the Undying One. This is our service to him. This is our service to you.
So, the Emperor's Tarot. A deck of psychoactive cards bearing sacred and meaningful images. Tarot cards are used for divination and predicting the future. They are believed to be able to capture images sent by the Emperor himself. In the hands of a skilled psyker, the Emperor's Tarot can be a truly potent divination tool.
How interesting. Devout assassins who believe themselves to be instruments of a higher power. They revel in violence and cannot tell the difference between bloodthirst and piety. They follow their faith blindly, unaware of how closely they tread the corruption and depravity. Look at them. They stand on the edge of a precipice. The smallest push will send them plummeting into the abyss. You could be their downfall. All you have to do is push.
A ringing sound fills your ears, deafening the noise of the world around you. Time goes still. A voice whispers seductively in the back of your mind. What exactly does a cult like the bloodspun web do?
The tenets of the web teach us to read the threads of the future and understand the hearts of others. When a soul is filled with the poison of corruption, we know its time has come. We bring liberation. 3 strikes, 3 rebukes, 1 blade. This is how we serve the Undying One. This is how we serve you and your flagship. But there are others. The virtuous martyrs who contravene his design without realizing it. Those who have come too close to faltering or committing an apostasy, but have not erred yet. We present such souls to the Undying One.
Her gaze is perfectly still. You kill innocent people.
We do not desire their death. We do not seek them out in the darkness. They come to us, and we usher them from this life if his sacred tarot reveals that the Emperor wishes to accept these martyrs.
Kibellah closes her eyes for a moment. She takes a deep breath. You mentioned the tenets of the web. What are they?
Our laws and teachings, our philosophy and way of life, our art of combat and spiritual dogma. The tenets are the bloodspun web itself. Humanity owes its existence to the Undying Emperor's sacrifice. It is he who protects us from a darkness of terrors. Hence, each of us has a duty to serve him, and a duty to die for him. To act otherwise is to waste the life that has been given to us by the Undying One, to become a thief. We help others understand this. We help them to live and die righteously.
Kibellah says with purpose. Instead of helping those who may soon stumble, you offer them death.
We follow his design. We claim those marked by his omens. We submit to his will. How could it be otherwise?
He stares at you in bewilderment. Yeah, let's put a stop to this. So my characters in Arbides, we believe in justice, right? So at least due process. Let it henceforth be known that the bloodspun web is forbidden from killing without my permission.
Would you cast down your sword at the enemy's feet in the heat of battle? How can we be an instrument of the Undying One's will if you forbid us from serving you through the tenets?
The cultists glance at one another uneasily. I have spoken.
Have we transgressed? Have we caused offense? What will we do now? What service can we offer him?
The word cultists whisper among themselves, and the sound of the anxious voices fills the hall.
We are the threads that bind the darkness. We are here to serve you. If you command us to set aside the rites of sacred slaughter, then it is our duty to obey.
Kibellah claps her hands twice. The sound echoes off the ancient walls of the deck, and the cultist falls silent. Tell me about yourself, Kibellah. Are you the leader of the bloodspun web, or its herald, or its servant?
I am the second spinner of the bloodspun web. The honor of this title is bestowed only upon those who have ushered more souls than... It is shameful to speak of one's own deeds. I'm here to become your shadow, not to make boasts.
Kibellah stops abruptly. He touches a slender finger to the fresh wound on her hand, and paints a symbol of a lock across her lips in blood. Not toward the captives. Why have you brought this rabble to the upper decks?
So you may offer the souls of these traitors as a gift to him. You have the authority to order their execution. Their blood will bind us together through him. For the God Emperor, the Undying One is death itself. The Undying One is duty itself.
Kibellah touches her sharp blade reverently to her lips. The captives tremble in fear at the sight of the weapon.
Give the order, Domin. Let a spinner of the bloodspun web undergo the test of a sacred trial.
The others echo her words from beneath their bone masks. Undergo the test. I'll judge the traitors myself.
Then, I will tell you of the treacherous blood that runs through their veins.
These wretched apostates were caught trying to sabotage the reactor. They are guilty of treason. I swear, we are not A woman in a tattered protective suit pushes forward in protest, but her movement is halted by the thin cord wrapped around her neck. You notice that all the captives have been similarly restrained. The woman clutches her throat as a thin line of scarlet appears between her fingers. Theft of weapons, sabotage, the deaths of the crew in Bay AL-82. Yet proof of these charges are such claims the result of cultic revelations. There is doubt in the Infernus Master's gentle voice. With all due respect, it is difficult to discern the truth of these accusations without evidence. Divine visions and dark portents may be reason enough for you to shed blood, but not everyone here shares your perspective. Enough, Heinrich. The Lord Captain will decide the truth of these claims for himself. What about those prisoners you killed during the procession? Do you feel entitled to stand in judgment over them? The scoundrels aided the traitor Voidfarer and were caught carrying weapons. Their guilt and sentence were certain. They avoided immediate execution, only so that the blood of the wicked could flow in a scarlet trail that led the bloodspun web to your glorious halls. Kibellah, is it true these things were revealed to you through visions? The practice of sacred divination using the bones and sinews of a martyr led us to the reactor room. This is true. But it is also true that I beheld the act of treachery with my own eyes. What did the accused have to say in their defense? The cords around the prisoners' necks are loosened just enough to let them speak. Have mercy. We're just technical tunnel workers. We're told to block the ventilation shaft leading to into the reactor room. Fume leakage, supposedly. We didn't know we were doing anything wrong. We were just following orders, so that's not a good excuse. And as for why we were holding weapons, that was, well, you know. The woman scratches her cheek nervously. She's lying. An injured officer scowls angrily. They smeared blood on themselves and crawled out of the tunnel, wailing, "Oh no, the ship's been attacked. There are enemies everywhere. Defend the bay." We rushed off to investigate, and they used their cutters to break into the weapon storage at our guard station. They stole guns and headed straight for the reactor room. What incident revealed your hubris? You abandon vigilance for the promise of glory. You do not give weapons to the traitors, but you left your post to seek a hero's path. Though you did not act with treasonous intent, you're complicit nonetheless. Address the officer. I will not punish you or your men. Continue your service and do not make any more mistakes. We'll never forget your generosity, Lord Captain. We will repay your loyalty with our lives if need be. What should be done with the rest of the prisoners, Lord Captain? These commoners wanted to enter the reactor room. I shall fulfill their wish. Throw the traitors into the steam generator bay. They can boil in there. Mercy, Lord Captain. Mercy. The Lord Captain has spoken. Take them away. It's probably a little brutal. I mean, it's definitely a lot of brutal. But they were willing to take out 26,000 souls, so... I cannot honor you by ushering the souls of these traitors to the other side. This troubles me. I wish to serve you as the sword serves its master. You make me your shield and shadow, Dom and Donnie Dawson. Your lordship. The spinners of the bloodspun web were watching, tracking, and killing Von Valancia's enemies, long before the word of trade passed to Lady Theodora. However, the blade has also been known to cut short the lives of highly upstanding persons. In fact, Tatum swallows nervously, casting a fleeting glance at Kibellah. But I certainly do not in any way condemn the deeds of the deeply esteemed cult. I am sure they must have had good reason. The Master-at-Arms clears her throat. The cultists are the scourge of the seditious. They bring the unrighteous to ruin. The enforcers respect the bloodspun web, for we share a common goal. To bring his light and his harsh justice to the darkest depths of this ship. Scourge of the seditious or not, folk are afraid of them for a reason. A couple of watches ago, the spinners took a train driver to pieces for some kind of ritual. I don't know what old Malik did to earn that privilege, though. Who's going to feed his family now? Heinrich takes a drag on his low stick, exhaling the thick smoke through his clenched teeth. But that's a lower decker problem. What matters is that the bloodspun web serves you faithfully, Lord Captain. A plump old man in the rich robes of a confessor adds respectfully, my predecessor's predecessor once delivered a sermon about how the spinner saved this vessel from the servants of the archenemy. The bloodspun web paid the price in blood, a river of scarlet that flooded the decks from bridge to bilge. They became the blood of the flagship, the pulse in its veins, and the beat of its heart. The great sacrifice earned them the favor of House von Valancius. It seems that not all the officers have been presented to me. Officers have been presented to me yet. Professor Adalbert, your lordship. As a humble servant of the Emperor, I'm entrusted with the high honor of being this ship's confessor, or in other words, the highest spiritual authority on your vessel. I'm here to oversee the purity of the crew's faith. I officiate in the officer's chapel, and also look after the ship's reliquary. Confessor, tell me about the spinner's great sacrifice. The vessel was beset by famine and pestilence during a long warp jump. The flagship wandered uncharted paths in the Immaterium for 20 cycles straight. Servants of the archenemy used the despairing hearts of the crew to infiltrate the ship, and death followed. The hungry became the hunted, the famished became a feast. The exhausted crew was too weak and emaciated to resist the invaders, but then the spinners emerged from the depths. They stood alone against hundreds of foes, and yet they did not falter. They did not sleep or rest as their blade-tipped dance brought death. Though many spinners fell, bloodspun web held strong until the flagship left the turmoil of the warp. I wish to hear what my retinue thinks. I have heard, though only at a distance, the prayers the spinners offer up to him. I've seen how their deeds fill the people's hearts with confidence in the inevitability of his wrath. The bloodspun web's loyalty to the Emperor is without question, as is their willingness to lay down their lives in the fight against the archenemy. Although Lady Theodora never granted the cult an audience or brought a spinner into her retinue, she respected the bloodspun web and approved of its mission. It is strange. The shadowy forms are swathed in darkness. yet a radiant light burns within them like scarlet flame. I think it is a good sign. It is rare to see anyone filled with such light, even among servants of the faith. You'll be my shadow, Kibellah. Kibellah's movements are slow, almost rhythmic, as she removes her ceremonial mask. The dark shadows of her eyes accentuate the deathly pallor of her skin, which is covered in ritual scars. Henceforth, I am your shadow, Damandani Dawson von Valancius. An instrument of death placed in your hand by the Undying One. For so it was ordained, and so his tarot forspoke. The old man bows her head once more. Also come bearing an invitation from the Vizier of the bloodspun web. He wishes you to know that the doors of the Undying One's temple are open to you. Are you suggesting the Lord Captain should go down into the depths of his flagship to search for this temple? With all due respect, the lower decks are for servants and crew. They're not a fitting place for his lordship. Forspoke? What do you mean? What tarot? The greatest, most sacred relic of the bloodspun web, the Emperor's Tarot. Only his chosen servants may earn the permission to rain blood upon the cards, perform a reading to see the portents of the future, shadows of the past, or tangles of the present. However, the secrets of his tarot are not for the ears of laypeople to hear. I cannot tell you more. Not here. Not now. Who is the Vizier? He's the first among us. The Vizier spun the web of faith for fivefold longer than I have lived. Blood of the flagship's blood. My mentor and teacher. Why is the Vizier not here to deliver the message himself? The first spinner is old. His abode is in the temple beneath the flagship's freight line. He has not left the lower decks in decades. Even a short journey could sunder the spirit from his ancient body. Where is your temple located? I am not permitted to say. If you wish to find the temple, you must walk the path of Saint Ariane, the matriarch spider. Hers was the thread that would become the bloodspun web. Her path began deep within the flagship, in the dark tunnels of the freight line, and that is where yours must begin as well. This journey will bring you closer to the thread of the web, closer to the Undying One, closer to understanding death. I do not see the point of these riddles. Your temple is a part of my flagship. What does it stop me from simply walking inside? You must become the blood of the flagship before you can enter the sacred temple of the Undying One. I cannot guide your way, but I can walk by your side. I'll walk in the footsteps of the matriarch spider. Your journey will begin in the darkness of the deepest tunnels. The Vizier awaits you. The cultists retreat into the shadows as Kibellah sheathes her ceremonial dagger. Your blade awaits direction, Damandani Dawson. We'll speak again when the time is right. Alright, well, I'm going to call it here. Next time we'll speak to Kibellah, and I guess descend into the ship's bowels. Yeah, I guess Rycat Minoris has to wait. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.